what I'm looking forward to right now in life is all the exciting things that are happening around me every day. Being able to share with you who I am and bring forth what I'm about. Hey everybody, hoping everybody's good. Hoping everybody is well thus far. Home for a minute, and that I'm about to be in and out. I hope if I don't do anything, I hope that I bring some type of insight to and it's always fun because it gives me an opportunity to catch up with my friends and talk about what they're doing and if anything, be inspired by them and watch them inspire you all. I appreciate those that check in on your girl to make sure I'm here talking about it because I got something to talk about, right? I always got stuff to talk about. I'm going to give it one more minute. She's there. Hey, my love.
I've never done this before, so this is I'm a newbie.
Well, congratulations, everybody. Let's welcome her. My good girlfriend has joined us here live. And look at the people coming in. These all your peeps coming in. They see you joined on. Now everyone's popping on.
I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of my dearest friends. I've known this woman for some time now, and she's not a friend. She's a family member. She's a sister to me, and I just love her and adore her. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for my good girlfriend, Miss Angie Warner in the house.
BJ,
how you doing, love?
So next time we have to do it with BJ. Oh, and look, then the key. See, I'm gonna start going. Look at all these people joining. This is cool.
See, they want to come say hi and see you and all the stuff and everybody. If you see Angie up on here, just give her some love. Throw her some hearts or something. Put some hearts up. There go some hearts. Look at that. People love.
Listen, if my dog starts barking, it's because somebody comes to the door. I can't control him.
That's my little nep. That's I call him my neph pup. That's my nephew pup nephew and everything. Yes, Angie is the mom to Stony Blue, the famous Stony Blue.
He has had a stomach issue today, so hopefully he'll stay pretty quiet and mellow.
Oh, Stony. You guys, Stony, if you saw her picture, that's Stony. He is the most adorable, and he's he's a doodle. What is, you told me before?
26-pound mini golden doodle.
Golden doodle.
Yes, and last time Monet was here a few weeks ago, she was giving him some vocal lessons.
Sure was. Me and Stony were singing. I think I have a video of that. I might post it up later, and there I can see Stony and I humming a tune. I would go ooh, and he would go ooh, and we were just singing together, and it was just a good time.
It was great. It was great.
So I'm going to go ahead and start. Who is Angie Warner? Tell people who Angie Warner is.
That's me. I am a tour manager in the entertainment world of the touring side of everything, and I currently work with country artist Keith Urban. Just started with him in January after 5 years with Post Malone. I listened to the universe when I got a phone call, and it kind of came in at the right time, and it was telling me to go from 150 miles to 70 miles an hour. That's exactly what has happened, and it's incredible. But I've been in the touring industry for 24 years. Prior to that, I was a runner and a venue and helped as a production coordinator locally in Charlotte. And before that, I was a booking agent. And started because my mom was a singer, so it's something that has been part of my life since I was a child, is music, live music, band rehearsals in the house. So it was just sort of a natural sort of progression into the entertainment business after college. Yeah.
And you are one of the official, as I always say, my Jersey Shore official, like born and raised Jersey. What was it like growing up in Jersey, being a Jersey girl?
Hold on. I think you might forgot. I was born a Southerner and raised a Jersey bitch.
That's right. Born a Southerner, raised a Jersey girl. Correct me. Get me right.
So I was born in Georgia and I was raised in New Jersey. So that's just because of marriage. My mom was divorced, remarried, moved to Jersey. But that's where I get that sort of thick skin, is from the Jersey side. But the nice side is from the Georgia.
And it's funny. So, you made a mention of your mom being a singer and everything, and kind of growing up in that environment with music all around you and everything. We can just say like your godmother, like in a sense. Can you tell us who she is?
So my mom was we did stop in Richmond for a few years before Jersey, and my mother was a singer at the Tobacco Company, which was one of those restaurants way back in the 70s that the waitresses would work as waitresses and then get up and perform a show.
Right.
And so my mom used to sing with Pat Benatar, and Patty was a waitress, singing waitress along with my mom. So I always call her Aunt Patty. I haven't seen her in a really long time, and I have no idea if she even knows like what I do now. But we did keep in touch until I was about maybe 20, no, 35 or so. So I feel like, I'm due to kind of go, yo, look what I've done. Look what I've done.
I'm
And always,
sure.
yeah. And she,
Oh my God. Now, guys, did you just hear her? She said, the Pat Benatar, Miss We Are Young, heartache to heartache we stand, no promises, no demands. Love is a
yeah,
battlefield. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, I can go on. Because I was a big MTV head, and Pat Benatar was one of the women that like was always on MTV. I mean, from We Belong and Love is a Battlefield, and I mean, just song after song after song. And she was one of those women that like I just kind of just dug, because she just had this grit. Like her and Chrissy Hine for the Pretenders, they were like and Joan Jett, they were all like the rock. I was like, yeah, I want to be them too. You know what I mean?
but she also had this that didn't take any shit sort of attitude. So I feel like my mom telling me those stories about how she was instilled that bit of into me of going, I just don't take shit from people, and that's a lot of the Jersey too, but I always love to hear those stories, and I love to read autobiography parts about her, and stories about
Yeah.
her being that. Yeah, and it was cool. So my mother always joked around and said, my mom is no longer with us, but she used to say, oh Pat, she used to change your diapers, which I don't know if that's really true, because she did know me since I was a baby.
See.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's funny because it's like I like your Pat Benatar to, me, my father was, sung with Marvin Gaye for years,
Yeah.
and so there's the stories of Marvin Gaye and me and the rehearsals and all the stuff as a baby. And it's just like, just being amongst these greats, even in our youth,
Yeah.
and realizing how much it would like, affect us later on. Not if we didn't know then, but it just later on,
Yeah.
just catapulted into who we are
Yeah.
today.
Part of
So
our nature and
it,
our
it,
energy,
it is part of who we are. Exactly. So how long, so I think you made a mention earlier, but I just kind of want to retract. So how long have you been a tour manager, or being in the tour managing business?
Well, touring side, I started in the year 2000. So I had been working locally at the amphitheater in Charlotte and other cities around, because I got really close with all the people at Cellar Door
Right.
Concert. So they used to be like, I'd work all the shows, Columbia, South Carolina, Greensboro, Greenville, South Carolina, all of those as well. And it just took somebody coming up to me and saying, hey, have you ever thought of going on tour? And I was like, sure. And they said, well, great, because we need somebody. So let's go. And I was like, okay, what tour? And it was NSync 2000, the stadium tour, the big one. So I started hard, I started big. Go hard or go home, right?
Wow.
Don't they say? So that's how I started touring, but I was in the production side. So I was a second production assistant, and kind of did different jobs along the
Mhm.
way. My second tour was, I left because I got an offer from Dave Matthews, and I went out as a backstage coordinator, band assistant. So I went, it was almost like, it was hard to say, yeah, I want to stay, but it was more money and it was a better position. And I was always looking to kind of do as much as I
Right.
could, and try jobs. So
Right.
I stayed for 4 years. And so I used to decorate with tapestries. It was like, it was a creative job for me at that time. But different jobs along the way, different tours. And then Dancing with the Stars was my first assistant TM gig.
Hmm.
First Dancing with the Stars, and then the second Dancing with the Stars was my first TM gig. And
Hmm.
I remember, because it was Harry Sandler, who, God rest his soul, was one of the best in the business. He said,
Absolutely.
we're looking for somebody. And I said, well, let me try it. And he goes, I think you're too nice. And I said, I think that's what this
Yeah.
tour needs. And he goes, I hope you're right. And at the end, he said, you were right. You were right.
Absolutely.
But
And ladies and gentlemen, that's where Angie and I met on the Dancing with the Stars tour, the first one. And she and I just clicked day one. It was just like instant energy. Like we're like, what's up? And we have been like this since then. And wasn't that an amazing tour? I mean, just that time, it was the show was hot, the dance was hot. I think the main thing was Cheryl and Drew doing Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy.
Yeah, but the first, they weren't, Drew wasn't on that first tour. The first one, you did the
I did the
first one with them.
first, yeah.
So that was Lisa Rinna, Harry Hamlin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I should have
Joey
looked this
McIntyre.
Joey Mac. Was that the first one?
Yeah, Joey McIntyre, Lisa Rinna, Harry. Who
Oh
else?
yeah, Drew was there.
Drew was
Drew was,
there.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And I can't remember who the, no, Tony Braxton was a little bit later. I mean, we had so many celebrities come through. Yeah, I should have looked. I have the tour book, which they don't do tour books anymore, but
Right.
yeah, the Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy
Save a
song.
Horse, Ride a Cowboy. That was the act. That was the performance of the
Yeah.
season. And when we did it in the show, it was like the moment in that tour.
And
It was a fun tour.
and that tour sold out. Every show sold out. It was an arena-sized show
Yes.
with a massive dance floor in the middle, with a 10-piece band, and five celebrities and like 10 of the ballroom dancers from the show.
Mhm.
It was and then we had company dancers.
Yes.
We took Dancing with the Stars out like a rock
Yes.
band. We kept telling them, you're touring like a rock star now. And that was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had.
What's crazy, as I'm sitting here listening to you talk about it and I'm going back in my head thinking about it, that was like the first introduction, we talk about the company dancers, of Derek and his sister,
Derek and
Julianne.
she was 16 or 17, I think.
Yeah,
I think
that was the first time they were
great.
just company dancers, and now look who they are now.
Who they are.
They're
No,
crazy, crazy.
Yeah. And that was like part of my job, is to keep track of all of them.
Yeah.
Be the maternal, teach them how to tour, and
Yeah.
teach celebrities how to tour. Oh, it was so much fun.
It was a lot. It was a lot. Talking about tours and artists, who, just name some of the artists you've worked with, and yeah, you can just, because I know them, but just blow the minds of the people who are just tours.
Tour managing. Tour managing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Imagine Dragons.
Uh-huh.
Ben McKee, I saw him sign on here at the beginning. I don't know if he's still there, but probably, when you work with a band and you jump into the camp right when they're like taking off on that rocket ship.
Yeah.
I joined right when Radioactive had hit. And so
Yes.
it's like, hold on for dear life, because you're going around the world 4 times every year.
Yeah.
You've got the 4 guys. It was you and the 4 guys mainly traveling, and then another band member. We would just look at each other some days and be like, oh, where are we? What have we done?
Right.
We're where? We're going to Korea tomorrow and then going back to Canada. Like, we used to do the craziest travel,
Right.
but the most fun. Those guys are brothers for life.
Oh my God. And shout out to them, my Vegas brothers. I've never met them, but we're all in Vegas. So shout out to them.
Yeah, they're good guys.
So Imagine Dragons and
so did a couple of the Dancing with the Stars tour. I ran both of the Glee tours, Glee Live. We took that TV show on tour as well. I got to work with Lady Gaga, Jay-Z, Kanye. I ran the Bad Boy reunion tour for Diddy. Sorry. But yeah, that one, Guns and Roses, Post Malone recently. Yeah, a lot.
There's one more that I think is very important that you have to say.
Keith Urban.
Well, no,
Who am I?
you said Keith Urban, but I think all the teeny boppers. Hint.
Oh, you mean like when I was my first tours?
No. Listen to what I'm saying. The teeny boppers, the kids lining up at the arena in Vegas.
Oh my God, BTS, K-pop. Like, oh yeah, I forgot about probably the biggest band that exists in the world right now, even though they're in the army. Yeah, BTS. I'm the Western tour. I've been the Western tour manager for BTS for.
I was sitting here like.
I was like, huh? Who? Oh yeah, K-pop.
BTS. Oh my God. Give us a BTS behind the scenes story.
There really isn't, because that's probably one of the most professionally run tours, like events. There's a lot of people involved. So you have the Korean team and then you have a Western team. So there's like double the amount of people backstage that you would normally have. But those guys work
Right.
hard. They work hard. They're very nice. It took, anytime when you're working with a different culture, it takes a little bit for them to trust you. And then and for you to also figure out how they work and
Right.
just work well with them. So there's, I have a team and then we have a Korean counterpart team as well. And we just become really close because the hours are long. There's a lot to be done because you've got 7 boys who can't just go out and get their own lunch. So
Exactly.
there's a lot of logistics that go into it, but the reward is like watch their shows are phenomenal. But I don't really have like behind the scenes stories because it's just always so pro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we have fun. I do nothing but eat Korean food when I'm with them because I like the Korean catering better than Western. But
Wow.
but yeah, it's the whole concept behind K-pop is mind-blowing if anybody ever has dove into it. But
Mm-hmm.
the fan base is so massive and they listen to the fans. So we had an issue on there's a little behind the scenes. The first show we did in Vegas, there was a screen issue. So one of the squares went out.
Mm-hmm.
And it was big enough to make a difference. So they stopped the show and 60,000 people sat in their seats and waited. So they had little signs saying, "Hey, we're coming back. Give us a minute. We'll be right back."
Right.
Sat in their seats. And then they start doing these chants that they know. Like the fans have created this environment so they know the chants. They learn the language. They learn how to, like, it's insane. So they were doing chants and then they started playing some music over the speaker and they're singing the words. And, at the end of the songs, they'd start clapping, but they all just sat and waited. You never
Wow.
so show starts again and it's insane. It's the fans are the loudest. I thought like NSYNC back in the day was loud, but 60,000 fans for BTS is loud. Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, so boy band to boy band. I mean, you were a part of and working with one of the biggest boy bands that had happened here on the western side and eastern side. So I mean, working with NSYNC as they were in sync. What was that like?
That was fun. That was fun. That was a time of touring in 2000 when, stadium tour, they were selling out. There
That's
wasn't
that bye
like
bye bye.
ticketing was different. Again, it was like this phenomenon of the boy band era, but it was to me the biggest boy band of all times. And I'm a little partial, but back then it was just excitement after excitement. It was my first tour,
Mm-hmm.
so I was soaking it in. I was taking in everything. I was like helping. Oh, I can help you do that. Like I was young and I was active, so I was able to run around all day long. Like it was just a different energy. But it was the boys themselves were the nicest boys. They came in every day on a show day to say hi. All of them would come into the office. There was 2 of us, Florence, who was one of my best friends still.
Mm-hmm.
She and they'd hug us every day. And like Chris would come in on load in days and help load in because he loved to be around the crew and still close with him. He lives here in Nashville. And like they were just good guys, really good guys. We had a lot of fun on that tour. But the schedule was crazy, but still doable because the crew, I don't know, the production manager had put together this amazing crew that we all took care of each other. It
Mm-hmm.
was one of those tours where everyone looked out for each other and everyone
Mm-hmm.
got along really well. It was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I know you've been able to work with some pretty legendary people. You mentioned Slash earlier from Guns N' Roses. What was that like?
Well, I worked on the Guns N' Roses tour of 2002 as a production assistant. So that was when Axl had the other
Hmm.
band for GNR,
Hmm.
Buckethead and Brain. So it was a whole different
Right.
band, Tommy Stinson. And then Velvet Revolver in 2005, which was Duff and Slash's other project. So I got to work with them as a production assistant too. So at that point, I became really good friends with the 2 of them and their families through that tour, and then got asked to come back out on GNR in 2016. So it was cool to kind of go, oh, I've done this part, Axl, and then Duff and Slash, and then I get to do them all again. That was really cool. They're
I
still,
can imagine.
yeah, still super close. I consider them family, the 2 of them, and they're just genuine smart. Axl's one of the smartest guys I've ever met. stuff slash smart, talented, beautiful with their
Yeah.
families. It's just it's and to go from the party side of touring because everyone was like that partier.
Right. 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 Right.
GNR is all business now, go on
Mm.
time, play for 3 to 3.5 hour shows. Yeah, it's a whole new scene. But it was good to do both sides of that.
There's no more. Take the welcome to the
Oh
jungle.
yeah, they do all that. They do all that. And then I go to the gym in the morning.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Again, rock legends. There's somebody you didn't mention, and I do want to mention and shout him out because he is a legend, Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah. So Eddie, I did the Van Halen tour in 2007 into 2008 as the assistant
Hmm.
TM. And this was before, now we do day sheets on our phones. Like nobody goes around and hands them
Right.
out, calls people and says,
Master
this is what
tour all day. I'm like,
Master Tour. There's apps,
mhm.
that you sit at the computer. But back then it was we would print them out and slip them under doors at the hotel room. So I would every night or every day, whatever, but that was part of my job is slip the schedules under the doors. And we were in Minneapolis, and there's a hotel that's across the street from the Target Center there, and there's a piano in one of the suites, and that was the room Eddie was in. Mind you, he was a classically trained
Mhm.
pianist and he was playing. And I remember going, God, this is amazing. So I went and got my computer, sat outside his room and worked for 2 hours and listened to him play. And it was one of those moments that you just take it in and just go, this is never going to happen again. That something like this, those moments are what make those jobs when they're busy and you're exhausted worth every minute that you sacrifice of your life.
And wow, I mean, just hearing that is amazing. Just to know, because a lot of people don't understand they see the entities and the artists as one way. Like you just, said, we think of Axel and Slash and Eddie as wild, but whatever. But to know there's this other side to them, and I think a lot of times, it's very important. And thank you again for sharing these exposés about them, because people get to understand and understand there's other sides to us as artists. We're not always like, I'm not always the diva. Well, yes, I am, but I'm not always her. But there's another side to just being just chill, and so to hear these moments like that is amazing. So thank you for sharing just these tidbits, because it's love. This is great.
It's
And we're
and
good here.
now that I'm 24 years into touring, I have to start to write stuff down because you forget, and the memories pop up, but I have to start writing them down so I don't forget them because I want to
Yeah,
share them with my nephews or
yeah,
daughters or my nieces and nephews later on. But also I might want to write them down and just do a little book for myself
right.
because it's you're you're always tired at the end of the day. There's always something that stresses you out, or there's a struggle or something that makes it like really, really difficult. But when you really sit back and go, how many people got to do that? Not many, like you can actually go, those moments make it all worth it.
Hmm.
So, worth it.
So, and then which was fast forward into who we are today. I know you were most recently with Post
Mhm.
Malone, and you were with him for a lengthy period of time, but you are now officially with our mega mentor on The Voice
Oh yes,
this
I saw.
season,
Yeah, I did not
Mr.
get to see
Keith
that.
Urban. OMG.
Mhm.
How did that even come about to go from Post Malone to Keith Urban? Explain.
From 190 miles an hour to 85 doable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I moved
yeah.
to Nashville 4 years ago, and I did not move here thinking I'd get into country because I was like, I'm rock and roll, I'm pop, I'm hip hop touring, But
Hmm.
last year I just started to. I lost my stepfather at the beginning of COVID, and I lost my mom almost 2 years ago. And because of that, I've just been going, what am I doing? What do I want to finish and try to accomplish with my own life before I'm done? What do I have to prove to myself or to others in this business that I can do?
Hmm.
Nothing. There's nothing
Hmm.
else I need to prove that I can do.
Hmm.
Like there isn't. There might be two or three artists that if they called and says, "Hey, we want to hire you," I might get FOMO over, but I was like, "But do I need to do it? No." So I said that I needed to start getting a balance because in this business, I'm part of a generation where there aren't a lot of females ahead of me that have been touring as much or at this level. There's a
Hmm.
small amount. I don't know how all of the stress over the last 24 years of just touring, that's not even the years before it, have on effect on myself, on my body and my mind. So I started doing a lot of research into it, but then I also started, because I think I was thinking about it, I started getting a little bit more anxiety.
Mm.
And I don't know if that was the workload or what, but I decided to go, this isn't worth it. It's not worth it for me. Unless things can change in a direction that are going to be better for me, then it's not worth it. I don't want to burn out on tour, because then you have more physical ailments because of that. And I'm
Right.
I'm going to be 54. I'm not,
Right.
might look like I'm 25, but I'm 53.
Right.
So, and I'm very blunt about it to anybody who asks. Like, I really just wanted to make sure that the time that I have left on Earth, that I have a good chunk of time where I'm really
Yeah.
healthy and I can do my own traveling, and I can do and start something else to be part of the community here in
Mm-hmm.
Nashville. And within 2 months, I got an email, and it was from this wonderful, wonderful person who I actually said, after meeting with him for 90 minutes, I wish I met you 20 years ago so you could have been a mentor for my entire career.
Wow.
Yeah, and he was retiring and he was looking for somebody to take over. And he said, I think that this is your job, and this is your job for the rest of, you could do this for the rest of
Yeah.
your career if you want.
Beautiful.
So I was like, it's country, I don't know. But then I was like, there's a reason. There's always, I feel that it was a sign. And
Mm-hmm.
the universe was listening to what I was putting out there for myself
Yeah.
without, and I said, all right, I've got to go and have these conversations about the job. And it's, it's like, it's almost as if it's like taking, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
It was the shift I needed,
Mm-hmm.
because it just kind of fell in line. And I can sit here today and say it was probably one of the best decisions I've made,
Absolutely.
for myself, for my career, for
Mm-hmm.
my trajectory of
Mm-hmm.
where I'm supposed to go next. So
Absolutely.
yeah, and he's wonderful, and it's great, and I love the band. And if you watched the CMTs last night, you saw them all perform. It's
Oh,
just it's
him with Mickey Guyton. I saw.
when
Well, I just saw something with Keith playing piano and Mickey Guyton was singing.
oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I barely got to see any of the show for
Oh
sure.
my God. Whatever. If that was from last night, it was beautiful.
Okay, I'll
It was.
find.
It was
I'll look at.
utterly
He's,
beautiful. Utterly beautiful.
he's
And you
wonderful.
haven't met Nicole yet, right?
No, 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 no,
We'll
no.
have to circle around because we need to know about Miss Kidman and what she. We got to know about Miss Kidman. You just made a mention earlier talking about being a woman in this industry and in the position that you've been in as a tour manager, saying there's not many of them out there. You definitely have broken the ceiling for, I'm sure, some coming down the pipeline. And I say that because you have been voted tour manager of the year, not once, but how many times?
Um, I've won 4 awards for it. 4.
That's my
Yeah.
friend.
And there's one award that I haven't won. I've been on the ballot twice, but a female's never won it. And I was kind of hoping this past year that I would be the first female to win it, but I guess Polestar's not ready yet, because it's just been a guy. I mean, it's an award called the Road Warrior of the Year.
Break
I'm gonna backtrack a
it
little bit.
down. Break it down.
Polestar is massive. They've been around since the
Yeah.
70s. I think it's like the 70s that that publication
Mm-hmm.
started. One award for touring, and it's Road Warrior of the Year. Everything else is Booking Agent of the Year, Rock Tour of the Year, all the stuff around live entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
but not touring, just one. And so for 30 something years, I guess it's 30 something years, they've had the awards. A female made the ballot for the first time in 2014, which was me, for Imagine
Come
Dragons.
on. No fire
So,
signs, claps for that job. Come on. That's a feat in itself. To even just be put on the ballot.
yeah, I'll take it. So only 3 or 4 times has a female been on the ballot, and I'm like, all right, maybe one time. But what I noticed with country is that, like, the CMAs have an organization for touring, and
Mm-hmm.
they consider us touring professionals. So it's like there's a whole award show that actually Keith hosts
Wow.
that is all for touring. So and they do a lot of mentoring. I mean, there are mentoring things within the Grammys, and I don't know if there really is in Polestar. There are mentorship programs, but CMAs is like they have a whole thing set up already for touring professionals. And I was like, I love that they consider us professionals. because we are.
We absolutely are.